Good evening. Good evening to everyone out there. I am Lavi Gumbs, and tonight you listening to Real Talk with Lavi. You have to turn it. All right, a pleasant good evening. This is Lavi Gumbs, and you're on the Real Talk. It is 8 o'clock right down here in St. Kitts and Nevis, and I just want to take some time to ask each and every one of you, how are you doing? I am here in the studio with my, what should I call you, Mabo, a sidekick? Yes, so I'm here with Jason.
Jason.
Jason, correct me now. Okay, I think for whatever reason, I think I'm coming down with the flu. I started my whole day. It was, so folks forgive me if you're not hearing my voice properly. It's going to take some time to come on in. So maybe it's just me then, Jamster. Okay, all right. So tonight we are going to be speaking about contractors here in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis in the field of construction. And we have a lot of people said that, Laverne, this is something very timely. It's a great topic. But I just want to let you guys know before we go further into it, we're going to have a little change tonight. Just a slight change. Our special guest host, the CEO for the Contractor Association, Mr. Anthony Evelyn, for whatever reason, he had the timing mixed up. So he basically was here at the station this morning for 8 a.m. instead of 8 p.m. But we have some great news because he definitely going to come back. But the only thing is, Real Talk with Lavi, we are booked all the way for January, so we cannot bring him next week. We actually book all the way into March. Yes, we have people booked already, but the 5th of February, he's going to be available, and I'm going to see how I can maybe do some changes and get him back so we can basically have him to answer some of the questions and actually to enlighten, the public with the general questions that we will have pertaining to construction here in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. So we're going to basically let you guys, get a chance to hear what Justin have to say. He's also in construction.
Yes, good night. This is Jason out of Newtown. I want to say good night to each and everyone out there under the sound of my voice. Yeah, tonight we're talking construction, which just happens to be a part of my field.
Okay, yes. So there you have it. Jason, he actually is in construction. I want to take some time out to say a pleasant good evening to each and every one of you, wherever you are, listening to the sounds of Real Talk. The folks out there on the internet, we have some great news. Our views are basically, we're rocking it right here on Win FM. Jason, our views is like 1.9K views.
Yeah, I saw what you sent me.
And these views have not just come from the previous show, but it's just people are hearing about Real Talk.
Yeah.
And I think what they're really liking about Real Talk, they recognize that we're not perfect, but we just want to try and create this platform to basically bring some different kind of information here on the airways. Everybody kind of...
Everybody in the political field.
Well,
most of the programs, most of them.
Well, yes, but and this is exactly what I want to say here to anyone that is listening right now. We will think that everyone is in the political field, but there are persons out there that are not into the political field.
Of course.
And they're looking to hear these things. And walking on the street of Bastille, believe it or not, I met Jamdong. Good evening to you, Jamdong. And he said, Lavi, people want those kind of things. Lavi must take some time and go over to the Cardin house,
Cardin home.
The Cardin home. And he basically concerned about what is happening here in our federation, and we really cannot afford to just let one, just politics take over the lives and the airways of our good people here in St. Kitts and Nevis. There's so many things to talk about. There's so many persons out there seeing me and saying, Lavi, we want to hear you bring the real thing to the airways. Some people said talk the things, but for me, our talk the things is talk the authentic things that is happening here, respectfully, to basically lift and enlighten our people in our beautiful federation. I got to say good evening to the folks on the internet. If you're seeing me, give us some thumbs. If you're seeing my sidekick, Jason.
Yeah.
Thumbs up to you guys. We are basically going to make St. Kitts and Nevis connect, through our radio programming, through social media. We want to connect the diaspora. We want to let everyone know that you are a part and we're not going to exclude you. We don't need you just to be a part of us when it's, as they said, politics.
Politics time, yeah.
Right? So tonight we're talking construction, and I have some great news to you folks out there in Radio Land, out there on the internet. You are allowed to call in tonight. We're actually going to have at least 15 minutes, right? We want you to call in and give your views. Keep it clean. Keep it positive. Don't call any names because, as I said, this program is totally different. We are about self-building. We are about self-pride. We are about positivity, bringing some information to our people. And believe it or not, a lot of us have traveled outside St. Kitts and Nevis. And I feel like when we have a position of exposure, opportunities, we should be happy to bring it back and share it with others and not be distracted. But before we go on any further, I just got to let you guys know, I have to give my story. And the reason why I'm going to do this, when it comes to the contractors here in St. Kitts and Nevis, I recognize that there are a lot of persons that will probably have their construction license. And, many people feel because they have the construction license or contractor license, we think that's enough. But there's a lot of persons do not have a certification in construction, meaning they're not certified officially, but yet they have a license. I guess we're going to have to try and hopefully maybe in time, this is a little small island, we don't have certain things in place, but maybe this is a time that we need to get away from that backward system and really make persons, if you're going to give them a license, they should be certified because it's kind of misleading. And there's a lot of contractors out there, and I'm going to speak it because the people tell me, Lavi, you're there to represent us in a good way. There's a lot of contractors out there with the women are being concerned. Lavi did take care of the women, take advantage of women in particular, right? And I'm going to tell you this. Imagine you hire somebody that said that they're a contractor, okay? And another thing, sometimes we want to give the little small man. We want to help the small man. But the small man, I think sometimes, mind you, not everyone, they get greedy and they probably feel, well, that person looks like somebody I can, take advantage of. But sometimes you might mess with the wrong person because they're persons that are willing to go to the lawyer, you understand, and situate that they can make an example out of these thieves and I would call them disloyal people that are out there calling themselves contractors. You have persons that are taking people monies.
Materials too.
Well, let's before we go to the materials, right? I'm talking about the labor cost. Okay. So they give you a price for the labor contract, the contract. They don't want you to get nobody else, so they get bright. And they think that they can just go and do the job work on their own. And, building right now costs a lot. And everybody have some, all the monies to pay for all these managers and those kind of things, right? But anyway, so they will take the monies. And this happened to many lady by a particular guy. It irks me to call his name, but because I'm on WINN FM, I would not call his name. But I know I have my facts and my backings, right? But we will call the initials in terms of J and J. So if anybody know that person, J and J alias J, right? So it's all J's. And they are out there over there in Sadler's, apparently living in Tabernacle. And come to find out, that person will give you what you call it,
Estimate.
an estimate, right? And they give you the estimate, let's say, for instance, 20,000, right? But they're responsible to probably get a steel guy.
Yeah.
What else? The
Electrician, the plumber.
well, certain things, because, but that's supposed to be in their money. The person, the house owner, is basically going to take care of the materials. People, no, let them put their hand on all your materials. Do not let them go up there. TDC and Hosford, I'm calling the names. Big up to TDC and Hosford. Do not let anyone go up there. You open up your account. Do not let any contractor take your materials without you knowing. And please, in order to do that, you have to liaise with the people at TDC and Hosford. Okay? So what has happened, this particular person, you pay him, and he don't have any invoice to give you. He don't want you to know the workers. Then he's going to tell you how much the workers, the steel man, charge you. Mind you, he gave you an estimate where if the steel man is, say, 2,000, right? But yet, when he get the money now, he going to say the steel man charge him 5,000, right? But when you're messing with Lavi Gumbs, you got to be careful. Every woman, and I think they have the wrong concept of women. You understand? People got to be careful. If you do this in your personal home with whoever you're involved with, you got to be careful when you're looking at other women and think you can not even just take advantage, but that's stealing, right? And here it is here. When I found out, I did some research, and I found out who the steelman is. When I asked the steelman, because, you want to actually use the steelman because he did a good job, so you're now going to take it upon you to use the steelman. The steelman don't want to work with you because the steelman saying that the same man that you pay is telling him the woman not pay no money. And guess what? You know what is so bad about this thing? Yes, this is people, this is real, and it ain't just happened to me. It's happening in St. Kitts and Nevis. And this is why we have to bring awareness. We're not here to dirty anybody, but some people really need to be dirty. Yeah, thank you. And I'm not going to apologize. The only thing that is hurting me right now is that I cannot call the name just for the sake of the radio station, right? But anyway, you know the thing about this thing where when you get in contact now with the steelman is telling you, miss, me no want to know walk up there because, the man said that, you know pay. Come to find out, I'm like, what? Come to find out, they say, okay, well, how much did you charge him? He said he charged him, said 2,000. But yet this man get 20,000. I'm just drawing a reference. And the bad part about it, Christmas came, and that man did not give the workers them a cent when he already had the monies. So persons out there that are listening to me right now on the internet, what you have to protect yourself with, don't pay nothing with cash. Pay with a check. You hear me? Pay with a check. And I was able, I'm going to call some name tonight, I was able to retrieve that check from the bank. And the bank cannot lie because every day is in writing. Transaction is there in writing. Don't even deposit the cash either. Because if you deposit the cash, it's not going to be a name to it. You're just going to see a deposit went in. That makes sense? Right. So what you need to do is to make sure write a check in the person. So use your check and write the check, and it will go directly to the person account. So if you have to go back now to the bank, the check is going to be right there, and you have everything, your evidence to take to the lawyer. What I asked of this particular person, give me a summary of what you do with the money. Where's the invoices? Up to now, they can't produce the invoices. Wow. Remember, the invoices for the steelman, $5,000. Then he's going to tell me, the steelman charge extra for bending. But listen, but even when you look at the breakdown they do charge extra for the bending, but it will already given to the contractor, not after, right? So and when you look at the breakdown from 5,000, is 288 just for the bending of the steel, right? And the sad thing about this, the sad thing is that you have a lot of people out there that really want to help our local people. And that is why a lot of locals are saying they don't mind going by the foreigners. Mind you, foreigners probably doing us the same. But it's bad enough when you know your own literally going to look at you and, they think that you have money or only the one hurting. Come to find out now, the other person that I got in contact with, this guy have not paid none of his workers. Thank God I did not hire them, right? So he did not pay none of them. But the good thing about when you're sharing your stories and your testimonies, in things like this, is not just about me. There are other persons out there that has gone through the same thing. Mm-hmm. And, when I look at the whole thing, right? This guy did it here, he did it there, he did it everywhere, right?
Virginia.
He is a con artist, and then when you call the contractors, it is sad. It is really sad because these are young people. When I mean young, like in the Federation, that trying to do their little business. The government helped them to get a construction license. So technically, some of them is just regular mason. They're not any contractors.
But someone said to a mason can also be a contractor because you're in the field, so you know the work.
I am talking, remember we're speaking certification, certified, and I got you. So we're talking about, of course, they're in the field of construction, but they're operating as a contractor, like big business. Yeah. And they're actually competing with the bigger businessmen, people that have their certification. So, Mabo, I would like to ask you, if something like this has happened to, and I'm going to say this right now, to your family, but before you answer, when these things happen, persons even come to me and say, man, Lavi, you got to touch him up. Lavi, you got to do this. But I don't think like that. Because just like how we're thinking we're going to touch up somebody else, somebody probably thinking they will touch me up too, right? But it is just bring anger to people to see when you have thieves, contractors here in this federation that gonna be looking at women and think they can take advantage. And the thing about it, there are other contractors out there that knows about this person. So guess what? The public have to be very aware now, because a lot of these guys, some of them kind of go back to the same steelman because the steelman don't realize they're worthless. And I'm not saying worthless. We're using the Kittitian term.
Worthless.
They're worthless, right? If something like that has happened to your mama or your sister or your mother, what would you advise her?
Well, exactly. One of my family, went through that same thing, but because now I have experience in the field, what happened, she asked me if I could do the job, but at that time I was doing something. So I told her, well, I don't have the time right now, but when I finish what I'm doing, I will get to you. But she wanted it done in a specific time. Mm-hmm. And she went through something like that. So then she called me, and when she showed me her papers, I said, well, where was the quotation from the steelman? Mm-hmm. Because what happened, how I conduct business, if I go to a steelman, I will say, well, let's go see the job. The steelman will look at it, and, I don't even charge like for the bending. The steelman will give me one price. Everything would be in it. Because when he will take him to the job, he will know how much steel he have to bend and what's not. Mm-hmm. So everything, and then he have to put a list where he wants, like, this and X amount of quarter in steel, X amount of half inch, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then he would put down his labor cost underneath and signed it. That is how I operate. Right. Same for the plumber and the electrician.
Right. And something, and this exactly how that person operates. But the thing about it is that the person take the money, and bad enough that they don't thieving from you, they have not produced the work.
Wow.
And then now when you're trying to get them, they're not answering the phone. So you are now looking at contractors here in the Federation. Some of them, like, they know one another. They go and they drink, hang out by bars, and they have, so some of them are getting bright because what they now do when they get these jobs, of course you want to help your friends, right? So the person that get the job, he have his friend, and his friend might say $20, like I said. But he's going to add on like another, how much ever he want to add on. have nothing to do with the money he has already charged, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know, apart from going to a lawyer, that who are really going out in the fields like to really look at these contractors. And that is why I really needed Mr. Evelyn to be here tonight to answer these questions. And he's definitely going to come back, he assure me, right? But I will welcome the public to start calling, write your views and stuff like that, because we have a serious problem here in our federation where, the burden of things are expensive, and you're really looking at thieves. They get it even when you're paying them, and they're lying, and they're basically lying and telling the workers that the homeowners did not pay them.
Mm-hmm. In my learning stage, in bit with that, doing some cupboards, for a guy. He told me over in Newtown, he told me, oh, the lady didn't pay us yet. So one of the other guys who were with me doing the carpentry took it upon himself now to ask the lady. Mm-hmm. And then the lady said, how you mean I didn't pay him? Since last week, Thursday, I paid him. Then we go back to him now. He was like, I can't believe y'all doing that here. What? Your man ain't getting work where I had to go to the woman to ask this and ask that and that, Mm-hmm.
All right, so I have somebody here saying, Lavi, it's like they want you to go on the job site every day and watch them work. They remove your decking and they go in with half of your board. You have 5 buckets of paint, they use 3 and they carry the rest home. Then they say, come to the bank and tell you need to buy more paint, right? So persons out there experiencing the same thing. Yeah. Your cousin is saying good evening. That's Marva Pringle, up there in Florida.
My auntie.
Your auntie, she's saying good evening to. Yeah. Okay, so one of the reasons, like I said, why I came here tonight, I did not come here to bash anybody. But I am going to bring real talk.
It needed to be addressed.
Yes, we're going to bring real information. And don't think, like I said, what happened to me has happened to everybody else. It's going to happen again. But as Maba just said, when it comes to invoices, I think, because I think it is small and sometimes we take people face value, right? You said you're going to bring the invoice. But I would, to maybe help someone from going through the same situation, before you give any cent of the money, make sure they bring an invoice. Mm-hmm. And make sure that you actually see who, as the lady said, you look like you have to sit and lay your eggs there and see everything, right? But it's really, really terrible, and it's a crisis, and a lot of them are going out saying that people coming and thieving. Some of them is the same people coming and thieving the things off of your land.
Yeah, sometimes it's them, because you're not there.
Yes. But, the good thing is the persons that have cameras, I have some good people around, and they have the cameras where, and the persons are really doing like community, work and those kind of things. But it is really, really sad, because some of them are saying that people break in is the same contractors, so-called contractors. Some of them is the team that are coming and stealing. And I am going to let the public know that what I say here tonight, it is illegal. It is in legal hands, because he's going to give me back my monies. He have not done the work. You cannot just take people lump sum of monies and walk around like you're some kind of, rich man. And I'm not going to be like some people and say, well, if they think I have money, I'm a black woman just like you guys. I came from the same slave ship, and I do not have any monies, and I'm not going to feel embarrassed. The good thing is that I am very, very healthy when it comes in my mind. I know what I want, but I am not going to feel embarrassed, and we should not have any contractors that if you're taking advantage of people, and person, if you have your proof, you got to find lawyer letter. One lady told me he the same guy, and I found out after that the lady, because she didn't want no one else to know what was happening, he already got 10% of the down payment, and he did not produce the work, and he did not pay the people. But what I see that is happening too, sometimes things that get to people's head, when you're not customer money, and you see couple lump sum coming in, and they go to the bank and they want to impress maybe the tellers them or whoever with the bank account, not knowing that all of the money no belongs to you. You got to spread the wealth. You got to share the wealth, right? One of the steel man said, Lavi, and it's so funny, right? St. Kitts is very small. This man probably didn't know who Lavi is. Every single one of them that he lied to knows me.
Oh.
You understand? And they said this person was from St. Paul's, a very, very good steel man from St. Paul's. You call his name, everybody know who he is.
I know who you mean.
Right. And the man, remember when I call him?
I know who you mean. I know who you mean.
And you know what the man said? He said, Lavi, I accustomed, I used to be in the law. Every minute I in jail. Lavi, I turn around my life and I got my boys, them working with me.
Great work.
And he said that, Lavi, come like this man want me go back to jail. But you know, he have built a reputation and have his business. And this is what I'm saying here in St. Kitts and Nevis. In order to fight the crime and violence, things gonna happen to you. Because sometimes we look at the crime that is happening. But sometimes when you see people like look at you in your eye and rub you blind. You know, when it comes to a man, where they say don't mess with your food and don't mess with your money.
Mm-hmm.
But I am appealing to persons out there. Please, the best way, there's the law. Take it into the lawyer's hand. Even call the board of contractors. And I want to share this. Mr. Evelyn, the contractor, the CEO for the Contractor Association, I did have a conversation with him. And what he was telling me, so I'm going to share this information in terms of what he told me. He said, persons that are going to build, and it is best to call the Contractor Association and find out all who are certified. Now, bear in mind, all who are certified don't mean they ain't going to thief you still, right? But at the end of the day, at least you know you're dealing with somebody that you have a letter to show, a paper, that they're not just licensed and certified, but it's certified in the field what they do.
But then say one said too, because I mean, I've worked on construction sites where people are university engineers, and I have to teach them certain things.
Well, and Mabo, and that what you just said, we still have to look at the fact that even if you have to teach somebody gonna have to teach somebody. Yeah. But bear in mind what he said. The CEO of the Contractor Association said that at least call them. Because when you go to court, you have to have your little back ends, you know. Good evening, is someone on the line? We're talking construction. This is Real Talk with Lavi.
Good night, Lavi.
Good night, how are you?
Politics.
Not too bad. First time I calling into your program.
Oh, well, thank you. Welcome.
Now, I listening you, right? I'm listening to the guys. I believe some of these people who give out work, give out job. Some of them is young contractors, they just start a job, start to work. They have plenty of money in the bank. Mm-hmm. And I believe what these guys should do. When they're going to do any work for anybody, they make the person sign a contract. Mm-hmm. So anything that this done legal, because me got a work permit, I got my job I got a contractor permit, I legally to do a job at build a house or whatever. And if the person they want to pay them the money, you just take them to the courts. Because some of these men, right, they have plenty of money in the bank and they're looking to you after the job done. You don't work a week time. You want something to pay your workers them. But I don't know. But you know, they got to work out the thing there. You know, I know the young man you're talking about from St. Paul's, a very hard worker.
Yes. We're not calling any name. I would love to give them the props tonight, but because of what I'm talking about.
Everybody know hear me.
Yeah, give me a second. Yeah, and
I will sympathize because he come complain me too. He come complain me to people to be calling in the radio.
Yes.
And say what for him and he work with this and he work with that and that and pay man. You know, I try to put it in me how to bring it over.
Right.
Yes.
You know,
I'll continue to the program. Good program. I will follow up.
Thank you so much for calling. Thank you so much.
Lavi, I don't even know you, but I hear about Lavi all the time.
This is Lavi, the great Lavi.
I don't ever know you. I don't ever know you.
Well, I was living in Monkey Hill, St. Peter's.
All right, okay.
Yeah. Well, I will make it my business. I will make it my business to put a face because I need to meet you too.
All right, no problem, no problem.
Yes, yeah. Thank you so much once again. If you're listening, you're listening.
I tell my partner about your program, but he tells me that he can't get with FM with party. He lives.
Oh.
He lives away in Lodge.
He can. Yes, tell him that he can go to YouTube and he can go on Facebook and he can go. Yes, he can go to the WINNFM website as well, and he can actually see me on Facebook. So he will be able to see me.
Okay then. Okay.
Okay. You too. Thank you.
Right.
Yes. If you're in tune, you're listening to WINNFM 98.9 FM. We are welcoming persons to call in. We welcome people to keep it clean. We'll talk with Lavi. It's not the regular show. This is not some place where you can come on and just give your opinions and you don't have a solutions. We're not carrying hate. It's all about positive because at the end of the day, we are all one federation. We all one people. And we know everybody ain't going to do things the right way, but we just want to be able to make sure that if something happened to you, you know, as Mr. Culture said, get your papers and take it. And the good thing is I have something signed from this man, and he did not produce the work. I have not even heard from this man. The man not answer his phone. He ain't answering the phone from the steel man. He ain't answering the phone from the workers. Everybody have issues with this person. And I'm going to appeal to anyone that feel that they can go out there and doing these things. You guys are putting yourself in danger because you might mess with the wrong person.
And I can say, thank God, I have never, ever been in that situation. And, you know, I've been doing this thing in construction field for quite a while, over 20-something years. So, you know, I'm just glad that I never, ever found in that kind of category.
Right. Someone said how these people asleep at night. But, you see, they're sleeping at night because when they get away with one person and they get away with somebody else, right, they feel they can get away with it. But I am going to make an example because I'm one person here in St. Kitts and Nevis. I don't know about anybody else. But because I put a voice, and it's not just now, I started working in my business from very young. I opened up my salon. I was 20 years old here in St. Kitts and Nevis. A lot of things that I see that is happening in 2024, where a lot of persons out there that are now calling themselves entrepreneurs or in small businesses, and they say that they're hurting. The thing is, this has been going on for years. I've seen all kind of people doing all kind of blogs. You see people having their the testimonies. Yeah. They're sending around their videos and people listening to them and they're just telling us what, you know, when people compelling you, but nobody basically walking the talk. So we have come a place where we just listen to people, just tell us what to do and we just run and do it. We have to be able to have a mind of ourselves. And tonight, as a female, I came here, if you notice, I'm supposed to be angry, right? But I've reached a stage of learning how to solve problems and make certain problems because it's going to happen, whether it happened to this person, it's going to happen again. But I have now come to realize that the system might be slow, but it is what it is. And I rather to put it in writing because guess what? That same person, when they happen to go in front of the judge and they see this, they repeat, they will know that this person making it a habit, a habit, and it becomes their hobby to go around and steal people. As I said, the person is living over in Tabernacle. The person is married. And you know the bad thing about it? You have somebody that have his wife and children. And sometimes, listen, I want me not married, you know, because me not going to be in my house. Me can't know everything.
Knowing what?
I cannot know everything about my husband. But I know if my husband is an architect, I might not get, if it's $10 he bring home, I might not see 10. But I want to see 80%. I don't know if that makes sense. And that is why women, you got to be careful of who you're married to, calling them your husband, vice versa. Men, you got to be careful of who you're calling women. People calling me, Lavi, I like see you. Lavi, I want to be a man. You ain't got a man. All them nonsense. A grown, seasoned woman like me now. could think you could come and fool me. And that's what happened to the contractor guy. And 90% of the contractors don't know about him because they're talking. And even before I start talking, when he actually did that to me, the people in certain workplaces, they're actually going out the way, trying to help others, but they could only do so much. And this is not good. And I'm saying this here tonight because what's going to happen? We are talking about the foreigners coming in and getting the jobs. But sometimes the local, we cannot trust them.
A lot of the foreigners are not qualified either, Some of them came here, they went on a job site, they see the cities and then they work out. I can do that. And what some of them does is that they will take a job, they can't do the job, but they will get somebody who qualified to do the job and then they make a money.
And you can't wrong with them, Jason, and you're so correct. A lot of them really don't know what they're doing. But when you are immigrant in someone place, that is why a lot of them doing the self-employed, right? Because that is how you make some quick monies. But is our people open up that door for them? Because if we can't trust we own.
Not so much, they undermine the market. Okay, for instance, let's use that banner, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
You might ask me to do the banner for you. I might tell you, okay, $10.
Right.
But then you go to a Spanish man, and the Spanish man going to tell you, okay, give me $5.
Right. And what's your name? Jason. I'm getting with this Jason, maybe because I know you're Mabo. And you are correct. But the thing about it, right? Let me use me for example. I have been in St. Kitts and Nevis since 1988, having my salon, right? I go all over the globe, come back certified myself. And you still have people coming back to me because the grudging, hating, envy people that talk bad about Laverne. It builds me because they all talk bad about Laverne, giving their personal opinion and perspective. But never once you hear any one of them say, she don't know what she do.
Exactly.
So you understand what I'm saying, right? That says a lot about me.
Yeah, it says a lot.
It is you're competent, right? So adding to what you said in terms of the people undermining, that's not for me and your business. Because if you know what you're doing and you have that confidence in your worker and you know that they're competent, they're going to find you and they're going to pay your bill. So we have to look at every man see for themselves. As I say, every dog see for themselves.
Yeah, but some people like to go the cheap route because I have gotten jobs, right, where I had to correct a lot of Spanish and Jamaicans work. Right.
And Mabo, we're going to always have to do that. Business with that. That's where you come in and you get your money.
That is where you're going to spend a lot more money.
And that's the game. That is the game regardless. Because no matter how good somebody be, we can't tell people where to go.
That is true.
But the problem that we have to look at here in St. Kitts and Nevis, right? Yes, we have foreigners coming in here and they're charging less. And this is what I have been hearing from our lazy local workers. Oh, the Jamaicans and the Guyanese, we're calling names tonight, the Trinidadians, the Santo Domingans, they're coming in and they're undermining the people. Well, how about you when we're undermining our own people?
That is true.
Right? So what I'm going to say tonight, everybody have to eat bread. And if this person going to undermine, let her do the undermining. You got to basically see for yourself. And in this beautiful federation, even when you're listening to the talk shows and people calling in, and even some of the hosts are telling people, they're giving their opinions and expect everybody in St. Kitts supposed to do the same thing. So, for instance, if this thing happen, and if you know you're going to do it this way, you're coming on and you're kind of compelling. It's like a dictatorship, and we need to have a mind of our own.
That is true.
And this is why I create the Real Talk with Lavi Mabo. So we need strong people, and everything what you're saying, I'm agreeing with you. But at the end of the day, Mabo, it boils down to you. Because even they have contractors, constructions, barbers, plumbers, whatever field you're in the small business, here in St. Kitts and Nevis, it boils down to you as an individual. What we need to do is to get a body of people to have associations.
Well, we're not together. It's a dog eat dog kind of a thing in the construction field as well. As
Well,
you say, crab in a barrel lifestyle.
it's a crab in a barrel lifestyle, and we can't change all of it. But with the Real Talk with Lavi, this is here to enlighten as much people as possible. You know, feed your brain positivity. And even in politics, I listen to people and saying, oh, politics dirty and politics that. It's dirty people spilling it out of their dirty mind.
Of course, yeah.
You understand? And because politics is about constituency and constituents and comrades, right? Even just like when you work in any large entities, establishment, you have associates, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you have large gatherings, so you find you're going to always have like church. That's why they say religion and politics and stuff like that. So anything with mass gathering. Hi, good evening. You're on the Real Talk with Lavi.
Yes, good night, Lavi.
Good night.
You're sounding so nice tonight.
Thank you. Is this
And I
John?
want to tell you, you're touching the topics we really needed talking about in this country.
Thank you.
These contractors, some of them, they're very bad. And what they're doing to poor, struggling people trying to get a home, it can't be nice. And that could lead to a lot of nonsense, especially with people savings and putting it in their hand and trusting them. And they got them going from here to over Nevis. And then things can't be right. So my sister, continue. Because it takes voices like you, me, and others to
Yes.
highlight what's going on in this lovely country.
Yes.
And we ain't going to stop talk. Have a
Yes.
good night.
Thank you so much, Jamdong. We really appreciate
Hey,
you.
man, bless up, jam down.
Yes. We got to say good evening once again to our beautiful people right here in St. Kitts and Nevis, wherever you are, wherever you're listening, on the internet, Facebook, YouTubers. We welcome you. Instagram. It's a beautiful thing having you guys connect, networking right here on 98.9 FM. I know some people might not know who Lavi Gumbs is, and it's not everybody going to know who I am.
Yeah.
I just come here to, as Jamdong said, to continue doing what I'm doing, and experience really makes the difference. And one of the reasons I can do this, the late Zambo Noel Heat,
Yeah.
right? There's so many persons that used to use the airways and actually be on the platform as guest hosts. And I remember Zambo Noel Heat used to say, Sistrin, I love your energy. Continue to do what you're doing. And I'm going to share this tonight. Bless up to his lovely wife, and Shaki, and her family. And I'm going to say this to, I've never said it to anyone, and even Tango down there in Sandy Point. And as a woman, I have been a victim just because I am a female. And here in St. Kitts and small islands, but I have to deal with where we're from. We don't like to hear it. And when we say these things, oh, well, the Chinese man did this, that. I could only talk about what I know is in front of me.
Not cutting you off, but the same thing the Chinese doing, we can do it.
Absolutely, right? And what I want to let persons know that persons like the late Zambo Heat, Noel Zambo Heat, people like Mr. Tango, I never even realized I will have this just come to mind, and I feel like I have to say it. When I had my business over the years, these guys, once they're in the area, they call me out, and they will put a little $500 in my hand and in an envelope, and I'm asking them what this is for. They want to encourage me, right? And I'm saying this here with no strings attached. It was nothing. I don't hear nothing from these people, right? And if we do this in St. Kitts and Nevis, right? Imagine you have a niece that have the potential with a skill. And you might not be rich, but you can help her, right? And you rather go help somebody else that you don't know. You feel what I'm saying? If I had come from what we're seeing right now, a Chinese, an Indian, is no way Lavi Gumbs would be a poor woman in her federation.
And those two great men that you spoke about just now, they have been doing it all their lives. Well, Zambo passed now, but Tango still give up to today.
Wow. Well, I really had to say that because hearing from Jamdong and say, it take us, our voices. And I feel that we in a federation and we have a lot of selfish men and women here. We in a place where we have a lot of women are holding down these jobs. And a lot of these women, they're mean. You see some of them, and let me tell you this here, they're like Barbie doll from head to toe. They ain't miss nothing. And some of them, when they open up their mouth, you can see the dirty heart. It is so rude. It is very, very distasteful. And you have men are out there running down because these men that inbox me and say, Lavi, I look at you and I hear you sure. I want you to help me. I have this girl and I buy her everything and she don't do this and she don't do that. And I invest in her. One mistake anyone can do, woman or man, you cannot just feel that because Mabel, you and I have an item and I see that you want to do hairdressing. Okay, we're going to pause. We have somebody on the line. A pleasant good evening to you.
Yeah. Good night again, Lavi.
Hi, good night.
Yes. Up to the end of this one talk show, they was talking about a guy calling on the talk show. I believe he does a trial. And he said that he even got an advertisement and the now. So he wants piece of land to extend the business. And nobody, like government and nobody, paying attention to him. He said that he will buy the land. He will buy the land at least, he can take it to lease because he wants to extend the business. And it's just sad to see that when our people who live here want to do a business and cannot get no help, and somebody just come from nowhere, and they get into more than who here. And that was the topic today. One of the topics today. People just coming in, getting this done, that done, and it look like people who we got in government. I'm not talking about the ministers. Them who in the earn the money, their own people. It seems to me like that's happening when people go to for a business license now, go for that or go for that. Somebody from somebody who ain't from here and against people. Because we got people out there working too, I ain't against people coming from here. But you go look at your people and first. You go pay attention to your people. And this is look like what's going on. You look at the Chinese there. Do you think we don't have rich men and women here who open up business and do what the Chinese never do?
Of course.
They could do it. This no. I talked to one of them Chinese men at time, one of the big one, them hold the business for years, And you know what he tell me? He said, I will get that guy money, I will bank. He does get his money from right here and do his business right here. So if he could come here and get money out of the bank and do business, why the ordinary man who here cannot get money from the bank and do their own business too?
Mr. Politics, your color mean a lot and who you're affiliated with means a lot.
And too much undermining going on here, man. Too much undermining going on here with our own people, and they got to stop. And sometimes because of who you be, they feel like you're ordinary. They feel like, man, what are you going to do with money? What are you going to do with this? What are you going to do with that? What are you going to do with the business? But you call one and I call you and talk about some plans he had to do and everything, and he call it and different way they talk to you. And he said that when he carry the document, they must sign, or somebody to pay attention to him, nobody study it. And this is what's going on here. And it happened government after government after government. It happened to our own people who live in here. And when there was the people lazy people they want to work. And that is our downfall here because our people who we got in authority don't want to pay attention to us. And that's the problem. Anyway, continue to listen to the program again. You good night.
Thanks.
What time are we going? You're done, 9 o'clock?
9 o'clock. It's just 1 hour, short and sweet. So,
All right, then, okay.
Yes,
The program interesting.
yes, thank you so much. We truly appreciate you calling in.
Yeah, he touched a spot there, that, it's so true. Because, for instance, a white man coming with a briefcase, sometimes nothing in the briefcase, just some papers, and you got your money, but he get first choice.
Right. It is 8:49. You're live with Real Talk with Lavi and my sidekick,
Jason, or Mabo.
Mabo, out of Newtown. I am from St. Peter's, for those of you that don't know who Lavi Gumbs is. Yes, I am one of your own. I had my establishment, and I think the reason why I can speak this way is that you have to go through pain, you have to go through struggles, you have to experience it. And just like the callers, that other persons can come in and get what they want, I want to say something. One of the things that I think that is keeping down our people, we talk a lot. We talk hard. We basically talk at. We have to find ways that when you're going to present these things, we have to, you can't just vent everything on the radio station. The banks are there. You're not going to get it all the time, but you can just have a word with somebody. Sometimes you can even maybe just go to a bank and find out the person is in the loan department or somebody that you can talk to without any expectations of having a loan, just to go and ask some questions. And the reason why I'm saying this, Mabo, and folks out there that are listening, I did it years ago and it works well. I remember a few years ago when Arnaldo Bailey was in National Bank. This man used to really help small businesses, right?
Yeah.
And there's certain time when I would go in, and I think this is the problem, and I wouldn't really say the problem. When you know, you know. When you don't know, you don't know. I am appealing to everyone out there that are hearing my voice. And if you know anyone, to share it. Share the live, share the page, tell them about Real Talk with Lavi. Because what I think that Kittishan need to start doing, if you have an idea, don't just run to social media and vent. Embarrassing people and trying to dirty people for everything is not what you do, it's how you do it, even when you're telling the truth.
Yeah.
Right? So I am saying that if one person do what I say right now, I can guarantee them that it's going to work. And what I'm talking about, Jason, if you want to go and do something, instead of going and talking it to somebody, find the places, because you're going to have to go in the bank. So instead of just go to the bank and expecting them to give you these things, start planning, start asking these questions. Think it is very, very small. Look, tonight, I called Mr. Anthony Evelyn, the CEO of the Contractors Association. He did not say no. And you know where I met him? In Bayram Supermarket on Sunday where we were shopping, right? So I'm just saying that it is time that we use our resources and learn to humble ourselves and ask questions. We need to engage. We don't engage.
True
We
that.
have been here in St. Kitts, and if you notice, all the crimes that is happening in St. Kitts and Nevis, it is bad. But when we see some of the crimes that is happening in Jamaica and even Trinidad, a lot of them are not gang related. The person just going robbing people. The person's actually like tying down, kidnapping. And that's how bad it is with some of these crimes. We don't really have that high percentage here in that when it comes to that kind of crime. But what I'm saying now, you have Asians and other foreigners here in St. Kitts and Nevis, and I have never once seen any Asians or Indians or Spanish or Guyanese have a gang and just going killing one another like the way how we're doing. That says a lot. So we have to take accountability of ourselves. I see that we are in a place where we consume with politics and we feel that the government have to be held accountable. But we as a person have to be held accountable too.
As well. Oh, yes.
Right? And the problem that is missing is in the homes is life skills. And that is why life skills do not teach in the university, because it have to come from in the home,
Yeah.
in the village, in the church. And that's where we need mentorship, coach. And I could tell you this much, Mabo. You see the skin color here? We are very privileged in the Caribbean, because when what we call white people come down, we don't look at them as if like we're surprised. We know them. We don't glorify people.
Yeah.
Even if they're superstars, we do not
We do not
glorify
glorify them,
we
yeah,
don't
honey,
glorify
yeah.
them like
For
that.
real.
We don't idolize them like that. Matter of fact, if you don't know the Kittitians, you'll think that they themselves is Hollywood stars. Because we can put ourselves together. But we need to have a balance with that. The vanity, the materialistic, and we need to really start getting our goal plans And we need not to let government set our dreams for us. We need to start setting those dreams by having persons like Laverne from Outer Monkey Hill, even your Mabo. With what we're doing here, we have to start showing examples. People are looking up to us, and you'll be surprised. Persons who we might think not are looking up to us, they are looking up to us. They won't come and tell you. But if you go to the funeral and you start going down in the grave at Springfield, you will hear all the things if you could only wake up. They ain't going to tell you when you're alive.
Yeah, that is true.
It's a crab and barrel mentality, right? And we have a thing where, somebody say this, Laverne this, Laverne that. And you ask them, do you know how? No, but somebody say. So you see the toxicity that we're carrying in our mind.
Yeah, people will hate you because their friend hate you.
Because they don't know anybody. Hate is spread when you don't know anybody. That's the damage of the mind. As someone will say, constipation of the brain. And when you know better, you know better. Last but not least, an officer told me this. He said, Lavi, I really admire you. And if you notice, anyone that talks about you is because they're behind you, because they're talking behind your back. They will never dare come and tell you in front of your face. They will go on social media, say all what they have to say, and see you in the street and pass the street.
Yeah.
So are we living in a place that is producing cowards?
Yeah, people use social media for bullying.
It is 8:56. I want to read this before we leave from here tonight. I see a lot of people on the live. Good evening to Jason Challenger. Good evening to Dwight Wilkinson. Glad that you're here tonight. I'm seeing Mr. Gavin Hamilton. Respect you so much. This person is saying, totally agree with you that our ideals, what we set up as goals that we might share in common, have to be relevant to the lives we lead.
Yeah.
It is 8:56.
Couldn't say it no better.
And this is what the program is about. I can't do it. And before we sign out here, I want to share something of how hate is being spread. I remember the first time when I put on social media that I'm going to do this live. There's a man by the name of Nigel Muckle. He's on social media.
Fake page.
Whether he fake page or not, I know he's somebody from St. Kitts. He lives in Miami, Florida. And he went and he made a post with my name, tag WinFM, and said that he addressed that dunce, how WinFM comes so low to have this person on top of Facebook, on top of their program. And the person share it with me, and I smile. Because Lavi Gumbs, I'm an eagle. I'm outside of the box. As the guy that sang the song, Lucas, he said, outside again. So I'm not in a box. I'm not in a shell. I'm not closed-minded. And I welcome persons like them that say these things, because when you know better, you do better. And if any man or woman can spread these things on anyone, as they say, who God bless can't,
Can't curse, yeah.
Can't curse. And this is why I open up the show. If you live in a glass house,
Don't trust stones.
don't trust stones. And I am just here to let everyone know that what we're going to do is to spread love, bring the message, and I'm going to be brave, courageous, and just be myself. And I'm going to represent the one woman that persons feel here in that slavery backyard mentality, that feel like they can put them out and discredit women because they feel that when they can tell women by curse them out by the sexuality, what I do for my sexual life is my business. But what I do to help someone else, it's a big difference. And this is what Real Talk is about, Mabo.
Yeah.
I want to sign off right now because we just have 2 more minutes. But let me read this here quickly. We have Marva. That's your
auntie.
Your auntie?
Yeah.
Marva is saying, exactly, Lavi. People need to make their own assessment by experience. I attest to it that you are a kind person. You have been kind to me, and for that, I am grateful. And I want to say this. Thank you so much, Marva. Just like Marva, we all need somebody, but we have too much of self-pride. And we feel that if somebody lends you something and you don't pay it back or you don't have the money, they go on social media and they trash you, and you see all the cockroaches, the termites on the deer, beaten up. And I said to myself, I refuse to let social media control me. And I just got to let you guys know, once again, it is 1 minute away from 9 o'clock. Next week, our guest that is coming up is from St. Kitts and Nevis. He's actually from McKnight. His name is Darren. He's down there in St. Croix. They call him Burger. He's going to be our next guest. So please stick and stay as we promote our locals, our diasporas, wherever you are, our locals, to bring positive right here in St. Kitts and Nevis and to make sure that we make some money.
And with that, we are out. Good night.
Good night.
WINN is 98.9. 98.